All right, let's just jump right in. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're breaking down what has to be one of the absolutely most highly anticipated matchups of the entire World Cup 2026 knockout stage. We are heading to Lumen Field in Seattle for a massive winner-go-home round of 32 showdown. I mean, the stakes literally could not be any higher. We've got two absolute heavyweights of international football colliding, and honestly, this match is already giving fans and analysts chills.
Now, you might be wondering what's truly wild about this specific matchup. Well, given the insane pedigree of these two nations, you'd probably assume they have this long, storied rivalry, right? But incredibly, these senior men's national teams have never met before. No way, right? Zero historical baggage, no old grudges. It is a complete blank slate. So the ultimate question we're tackling today is this: what actually happens when European possession-based football runs headfirst into lightning-fast African transition?
Because, as you'll see, this match is a definitive clash of totally opposing tactical philosophies. On one hand, you have Belgium. They want to dictate the tempo, move the ball side to side, and patiently build up their attacks. On the other hand, you've got Senegal, a team absolutely built on explosive counterattacks, blistering speed, and sheer power. It's classic tactical friction. Whoever imposes their style first is going to walk away with the win.
Okay, moving on to Section 1, Belgium's rebuilt Red Devils.
So let's look at Belgium. They're ranked 9th in the world right now, guided by manager Rudy Garcia, and they play this really fluid, high-tempo 4-2-3-1 system. They cruised into the knockouts as Group G winners, and they capped off that group play with a massive 5-1 thrashing of New Zealand. So the momentum is definitely there. And yet, they've got serious tournament pedigree, finishing 3rd back in 2018. But it's crucial to remember this is a squad very much in transition. They're trying to blend a dynamic new generation of attackers with their established veteran core.
But, it hasn't been completely smooth sailing for them. This quote from Rudy Garcia really hits the nail on the head regarding the immense psychological pressure this team is facing. After a somewhat frustrating draw against Iran earlier in the tournament, some local media went after the Belgian veterans, literally labeling them has-beens. Ouch! Garcia fiercely defended his locker room, standing right by his core leaders, and sure, that 5-1 win over New Zealand relieved some of that tension, but make no mistake, these veteran Red Devils are coming into this match with a massive chip on their shoulder.
So, just how dangerous is this Belgian side when they're locked in? 29. That is the massive number of goals they scored in just 8 UEFA qualification matches. To put that into perspective, that's averaging over 3.5 goals a game. When this attacking unit actually clicks, they are absolutely lethal and can overwhelm pretty much any defense on the planet.
Let's break down exactly where all that firepower is coming from. Kevin De Bruyne is still the undisputed heartbeat of this team. Surprisingly enough, he was actually their top scorer in qualifying. Out wide, you've got Jeremy Doku providing this terrifying one-on-one threat. But the really crucial piece of the puzzle here is Romelu Lukaku. See, throughout the group stage, Garcia kept experimenting with Charles de Ketelaere as a false 9, but honestly, Belgium often looked kind of toothless until Lukaku came onto the pitch to provide a true physical penalty box target. The big debate circling Seattle right now is exactly who starts up top to finish the chances De Bruyne creates.
All right, Section 2, Senegal's lethal transition.
Let's shift our focus to the Lions of Teranga. They come into this match ranked 14th in the world under coach Papi Thiaw, and they run a blisteringly fast 4-3-3 system. Now, their path to Seattle was definitely a bit bumpier. They had a really tough start in Group I, taking losses against France and Norway. But man, talk about mental resilience. They bounced right back with a 5-0 demolition of Iraq to advance out of 3rd place. And we definitely shouldn't forget, this is a nation that absolutely knows how to make a deep tournament run. Just look back at their quarterfinal appearance in 2002.
While we just hyped up Belgium's goal-scoring prowess, Senegal's calling card is entirely different. 0.30. That's the incredibly low number of goals they conceded per match during an undefeated qualification campaign. Before those little group stage hiccups, this was a team built on absolute, rock-solid defensive discipline and a remarkably compact block that just completely frustrates elite attackers.
And here's the thing. Once they frustrate you and steal the ball, this specific trio takes over. Sadio Mane is their veteran talisman and all-time top scorer. His intelligent movement just creates pure chaos for defenders. Then you pair him with Ismail Assar and Iliman Ndiaye, who bring this lightning-fast pace and incredibly direct running on the break. If Belgium leaves even a single inch of open space behind their high defensive line, this Senegalese front three is going to exploit it in a matter of seconds, for sure.
However, we do have to talk about a really critical vulnerability for Senegal today. Their star goalkeeper, Edouard Mendy, is expected to be out for this clash. That means Mori Diaw is projected to step right into the spotlight. Going up against a totally ruthless Belgian attack featuring De Bruyne and Doku without your number one keeper, that's a massive, massive hurdle. How Diaw handles the pressure is going to be one of the biggest storylines of the day.
Moving into Section 3, Clash of Styles. Let's look at the tactical matchup.
The underlying data here highlights a totally stark contrast. During qualifiers, Belgium held an average of 61.6% possession. They want the ball. They want to meticulously pick you apart. Senegal? They don't need long spells of possession at all. Their midfield engine room averages 14.2 progressive carries per 90 minutes, meaning the very second Senegal wins the ball back, they are driving it up the pitch immediately. It is literally death by 1,000 passes versus a sudden lightning strike.
And all that tactical friction? It creates these three key battlegrounds that you are absolutely going to want to watch closely. First up, midfield control. Kevin De Bruyne trying to find creative pockets of space against the relentless pressing of Senegal's Idrissa and Pape Gueye. If De Bruyne navigates that press successfully, Belgium probably dominates. Second, transition speed. Watch Mane and Sarr running full tilt at Belgium's fullbacks. And finally, just the pure physicality of it. Romelu Lukaku battling Senegal's defensive anchor, Kalidou Koulibaly, right inside the box. That is a heavyweight fight right there.
So if we map out the anticipated flow of the match, it basically plays out in three phases. Phase 1, Belgium takes the ball and dominates possession. Phase 2, Senegal is perfectly happy to drop into a deep, compact defensive block. They absorb the pressure and protect their backup keeper. But then, Phase 3. As Belgium pushes higher and higher looking for that breakthrough goal, they start leaving space at the back. And that creates the exact environment Senegal thrives in to launch an absolutely devastating counterattack.
Now, you might be asking yourself, well, won't Belgium just adjust their defense to protect against all that speed? According to this quote from Rudi Garcia, absolutely not. He explicitly stated he will not play 5 at the back because it means sacrificing an attacking player, which he called a shame. So, Belgium is willfully sticking to a 4-man backline. They are essentially betting that their offense can just outscore any mistakes their defense makes. They are intentionally leaving themselves exposed to Senegal's lethal pace.
Okay, final section. Section 4, the ultimate prediction.
If we look at the betting markets and odds makers right now, it is incredibly tight. Belgium is sitting as the slight favorite at plus 120, and that's largely based on their tournament pedigree and the sheer individual quality of their starting 11. But look at Senegal at plus 250. The markets clearly see them as a highly dangerous underdog. And that draw sitting at plus 220, that indicates odds makers think there's a very high probability this whole thing doesn't even get settled in 90 minutes. Which leads us perfectly into the expert forecasts from our sources. The projection here is a wild, high-scoring 2-2 draw at the end of regulation time. The analysis basically suggests that both teams have the attacking talent to score, and honestly, both have defensive vulnerabilities that are going to get punished. But the crucial takeaway, the real game changer here, is that as the game stretches into extra time, Senegal's raw speed and athleticism are predicted to eventually break down the tired legs of those older Belgian veterans. Which leaves us with this final thought to chew on. We have a first-time matchup between two absolute powerhouses, playing completely opposite styles of football. One team relies entirely on control and patience. The other relies on pure speed and power. One wants to completely rewrite this media narrative of being has-beens, while the other is desperate to capitalize on their recent momentum. It is win or go home. So, who do you think survives Seattle? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and definitely enjoy the match.